Hey, my name is Craig Thiessen. I'm the lead pastor at the Bridge Church in North Vancouver. This is Dan. He's an elder here at the church. And we want to tell you a little bit about our church and our culture of prayer that we've been building for the last number of years.
You know, this is what we want to talk about today is 24/7 prayer week at the Bridge. Can you kind of just give a background of, you know, how that got started and really why does the Bridge do this? Why do we do this? Why would be a big question.
Yeah.
And why should anyone else do this?
Sure. Well, again, I would just go back again and say one of the reasons we believe so much in prayer is because we live in a city, we live in a culture where there's a significant amount of opposition to the gospel, where generally it's been tough sledding. And so really believing that prayer is what opens the way for God to do what only God can do, right? You want to see the gospel go forward. You want to see people come to know Jesus. You've got to have prayer, right? And where the 24/7 prayer came in, first of all, was inspired by some historical movements like the Moravians at Herrnhut, and even 24/7 prayer as a movement inspired by that in Europe 25 years ago or so. So there was some of that. But when the pandemic hit in 2020, in April that year, I think there were a number of us who kind of had this idea: what if we got people together from our church, and actually broader than that, from our city, and we were to pray together 24/7. If we were to imitate those Moravians from way back. And so that's what we started. That's what we did. It was still mostly the Bridge, but we did have success in bringing together a number of other churches. We would have a sign-up sheet, a Google Doc, a shared Google Doc. Anybody who had access to the link could get on there and sign up for a slot. And so we covered, I think for 2 weeks, we covered every hour of prayer for our city in the midst of that pandemic, saying, let's see what God can do through us in that. And then from there, we thought, wow, we've seen God work. This has been such a good thing. Let's keep going. Let's make this a rhythm of our church as a whole. And so for the last 4 years, let's say 4 or 5 years now, we've had a rhythm where 3 weeks a year. So fall kickoff, usually the first or second week of September when we're coming back from the summer. The new year, so in January, once everybody's back again, there's a week there at the beginning of January, and then the week leading up to Easter. So kind of 3 times a year, we set aside this week of 24/7 prayer. So we've been doing that for 4 or 5 years now, where we've got that Google Doc that people can sign up for, half-hour slots. We generally cover the whole thing. We'll have some links at the bottom with prayer guides if people struggle to know how to pray for that long, so they can go through a guide. We have a number of prayer gatherings during that week at the church, some worship nights, some other prayer meetings. So lots of ways that people are corporately praying together as well as praying on their own. They can pray at the church, they can pray wherever they are. But the focus is for that week, we're not doing any other ministries, we're not doing any other programs. Everything else gets canceled. Everything comes back to prayer. Prayer for our church and for what God wants to do in this coming season.